Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Wondering when you should plant up your seedlings? Well, there's a couple of things to look for, and these coleus have one of those prime things that I look for when I need to plant up my seedlings. Some of the things that you want to look for are plants that have just stopped growing. So they put on nice growth and they were doing really fine, really well, and then all of a sudden they just stopped putting on more growth, but everything else seems healthy. They're good, healthy plants. They just aren't growing more. Sometimes it's the variety of plant and they just go through different stages of growth. Sometimes it's because they just have no more nutrients and room to grow, so they just stop growing. Another thing to look for, and one of the main things that I look for, is if a plant is root bound. So if it has just so many roots in the little cell container, so if you have like a small, like 9-pack like this, the seeds will do really well for a while, and they have all the nutrients and that they need from the seed for the first while. And then you might still be fertilizing to add nutrients once they need that. But after a while, you notice that you could water the plants like every day, twice a day, and they're still drying out constantly. And then if you lift them out of their cell, it might just be a mass of roots. Now this isn't. This is a nice healthy root system here. This is just a nice amount of roots. But sometimes you might find that they aren't spreading out in the way that they should. They just don't have the room to grow in these little seed cells anymore to get the nice shape and size that you want. So this is chocolate covered cherry coleus. And you can see that the plants are fairly upright. They're not spreading out. They're not getting that nice coleus look. So here's one that I've potted up. I just did this, so you can see how the leaves are all going up. They're not spreading out, making a nice coleus plant like you would usually see that's kind of more spread out. They're just reaching up, trying to find the light, because they're all jammed in this little pack here. Here's another one that's even more evident, and see how the leaves are going just straight up on it. They just don't have the space to grow out wide. So when you see any of those things, like the growth has just completely seems to have stopped, but the plants are otherwise healthy, you just can't ever seem to water them enough, and then you pull them up and they're just completely root bound. Or in a case like this where they just need more room to spread out and get the desired shape of the particular plant, it's time to pot them up. So I just have filled some larger seed containers, and I've just loosely filled it. I haven't packed it in anything that's just dry, and I'll just a couple fingers down, pull out the plant, and just push it in. And you can usually, most plants can be buried a little bit deeper than they were growing in the tray, but a lot of times you want to try and get to that, basically that point that they were in the seed tray. And then that plant will have much more room to spread out. Now, if you have pots this size, so there's still tons of room for root growth, and they are still getting overgrown, or they're still growing too upright and too tight, you might have a situation like I did with my lobelia. So I moved these a couple of days ago, but you can see how most of them are still kind of trying to grow straight up. But I had this tray packed with twice as many plants, and so I just went and I took half the plants out of the tray and moved them to another tray, so they have more room around each plant now, so they can spread out. And they're starting to, some of them are still pretty upright, but they're starting to spread out more and do that trailing thing that I want the lobelia to do, so just reaching straight up to the sky to try and find the light. So if you have them in an area where maybe they still have lots of room for root growth and they haven't been drying out a lot, but you have the space like in trays like this where you can move them and spread them, and they should have more room to grow around each individual cell. These are just 4 packs, so each plant has room on at least 2 sides to grow out. Then I can let them do that and they will find their shape better. Now, if it was a plant that was a little less airy than a lobelia and I wanted a very symmetrical looking plant, then I would need to move them out of the 4 packs. But being that this is just kind of an airy trailing plant, I can just separate the 4 packs a bit to just give them more room to spread out, and that will work. But if you had Again, like a coleus in a 4-pack, you'd want to put them in each individual pot, and then make sure there's room around each pot for the plant to spread and get that nice symmetrical look that we're looking for. So I thought that might be helpful to just see, you know, what to look for when potting up your plants. So not super root bound, but super upright and looking for a new look, needing more room to spread out and get that nice shape of a coleus that I want. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.